Dear learners, welcome back to Research Methodology course. We have already seen what is literature review and the objectives of conducting a literature review. In this video, we will see how to perform or how to write a literature review. These are some of the steps which will guide you to conduct a literature review in an effective manner. The steps are: first of all, you need to select a topic and collect scholarly information and sources. Then after that, you need to analyze the various sources and select suitable article related to your area of study. And then you need to describe and summarize each selected article. Then you need to identify the connections with various sources, and finally you need to identify the missing part, that means the research gap in previous studies that your study is going to address. So we will see each step in detail. The first step in literature review is select a topic, and then you need to identify and collect scholarly information and sources. So you need to begin a literature review with clearly defined or a well-focused research question. For example, if your research topic is only crime, does it give any direction to your search for research article? No. But if you frame your research topic like, does economic inequality produce crime rates across nation, then this topic will give you more direction in your search, right? So first of all, you need to select a topic. That is very important, and that won't be in a vague manner, but to be very specific, you can define your topic. Then once your topic is identified, the next thing you need to do is design your search. That means you need to identify and collect scholarly information and sources. So here is some of the useful e-resources that is available for commerce and management research. The first one is Google Scholar. So it is a freely accessible web search engine from Google that provides a simple way to search for scholarly literature. And the URL for Google Scholar is this. You can click on that, or you can search for the same in Google, and you can avail a number of scholarly articles related to your selected topic. Then second one is information and database service providers. So these are a large number of information and database service providers that are available on the internet. Some of them are freely accessible while some are paid database, and here is the list of those information and database service providers. You can use any of them for your search for research article. Then next one is Mendeley. This is actually a open source reference management tool, and Mendeley will help the researcher to organize his research for resources effectively, or his search for resources effectively. The next one is Publish or Perish. It is very useful in search for academic journals. The thing is that you can, in Publish or Perish, you can search articles according to author, publication date, or field of study, and this application will give you those lists. The next one is, depending on the requirement of the researcher and the topic of the study, there are plenty of dependable websites are available. So here is the list of those websites the researcher can use for searching articles or reports. The next one is open access journals. They are scholarly journals that is available online to the readers without any kind of financial, legal or technical barriers. And you can obtain the list of those open access journals from this URL. You can search for the same. Now we move on to the second step in literature review, that is analyze and evaluate various sources, and then you need to select suitable article for your area of study. So here the question is how we can analyze and evaluate a research article, because we have already seen a number of e-resources are available. We can search for articles over there, and from there we need to take an article that is suitable for our area of study. How can we do that? So we will see one by one. The first thing that is useful for us, you can examine the title of the research article. Say good title will be always specific, and that will indicate the nature of the research. Then second one is you can read the abstract in an article. So see, the most of article may have 5 to 50 pages, right? So it is not easy for a researcher to read the entire article and then preparing a review for the same. So in such situation, this abstract plays a major role. And abstract means, see, the most of the articles may often have this abstract, and it means a short summary of a scholarly article that usually appears at its beginning. So the beginning of a research paper, you can see this abstract. So a good abstract will summarize critical information about that study, and it gives the study's purpose, and it identifies methods used in that research, and it will highlight the major findings. So if you go through the abstract of an article, you can definitely get an idea about what this research paper is all about. Then third thing you can do is you can read the entire article. So before reading this entire article, you can just skim the first several paragraphs, and then you can directly move to the conclusion part. And if you are reading some kind of highly relevant article, that means the article that is highly relevant to your current study. So if you are reading those kind of article, then it is better to begin your reading from the introduction section, so that will give you more idea about the same. And in order to perform a good literature review, you must be very selective, comprehensive, critical, and current. See, being selective means it doesn't mean that you need to select all the available article, but you just need to select only the most relevant study that is related to your current research work. And being comprehensive means it is better to include past studies that are highly relevant to your study and do not omit any important one. That is being comprehensive. Then being critical means you must evaluate each article and you must identify whether it will suit to my current study. And last one is it is always better to include recent studies in your literature review. For example, we are going to conduct a literature review or a research in 2020. So it is always better to add the recent studies in the same area of field that is happened in 2018, 2019 or 2020. So this is what mean by adding recent studies in your literature review part. Okay, so we have covered the first two steps. That means we have already identified various e-resources, and from that we have selected one article related to your study. And now the question is how we are going to write this review. So that is what we are discussing in the third step or the third phase of literature review. Describe and summarize each selected article. See, for our project work or research work, we may review a number of articles. It may be 10, 20, 30 or more than that. And the first question comes to your mind is, how can I arrange this 30 articles in my project work? That is one question. So that you can address here. You can arrange them in different ways, these 30 articles. Either you can arrange them as old to recent publication. For example, suppose you are carrying out a research work and you can collect research article from 2010 to 2020. So you can arrange them from the old to recent work. That is one way you can arrange them. Or you can arrange them based on a key theme or the methodology that is used in a research work, and or you can write them or you can align them in a theoretical aspect, like the basis on the discussions of opposing theories or models. And these are some of other ways you can align this kind of literature review in your project work or your research work. And the next question comes to your mind is, how can I write a review? So we have already identified the article and we know how to align them in our work. And now the important question, how can I write a review of a research article? So here is the answer for that. The first thing you need to remember or keep in your mind is, writing a research review is not like writing a textbook. Hence, the researcher can leave out a lot of general dimensions of the topic and write only what is specifically relevant to the research. So, a review of an article can be done in such a way that includes introduction, main body, and the conclusion. But remember one thing, that you don't want to specify these headings like introduction, main body and conclusion in your literature review, but you need to write a paragraph. But that includes these important points. Like suppose you have selected a research article and first of all you need to say, okay, this article focuses on what? For example, okay, this article is focused on the effect of demonetization on digital banking. So the first sentence you can write in that way. Then after that you can specify the study design, that is research design they have used, the assumptions or the hypothesis in that study, the method of data collection they have adopted, the overview of the main points, and you can summarize the major findings and implications of that study, and finally you can conclude that article in 1 or 2 sentences. So a review of an article you can write in a paragraph, and remember that it is not like writing a essay or like writing a textbook. You can write it in a very concise manner, a paragraph, but that includes this kind of important points like the major focus of that study or the purpose of that study, then the methodology they have adopted in that study, the major findings and implications of the study. So this is how you can write a review of literature. Then the fourth step is you need to identify the connections with various sources. You can combine the sources to make an overall point, or you can synthesize and analyze the information into a broad findings. And the last part of literature review is you need to identify the missing part. That means our research gap. In previous studies that your study is going to address. For example, you can highlight this gap in literature like this. While there has been much studies or research on X, few research have taken this Y into consideration. So this is what your research gap, and your study is going to address this gap in the literature. So this is all about how to write a literature review. I hope this is clear to you. Now you can start your writing literature review. All the best. In the next video, I will give you some tips in which you can utilize those tips and you can make your research review in a more effective manner. Stay tuned for that. Till then, keep learning. Thank you.